This is probably one of the most unconventional tools in our filmmaking setup, but it's an absolute game changer. What am I talking about? A 3D printer. Yes, I know, it's not your typical filmmaking gear, unless you're an FPV drone pilot. But once we started using it, well, we wouldn't want to go back. Well, we're not using some sort of high-end industrial machine. I have a basic one, an Ender 3 Pro. It's probably one of the most entry-level 3D printers you can get. Super affordable, not super fast, no fancy bells and whistles, but even with that basic setup, you can get and create an insane amount of useful, practical things for your film productions. One of the first things that we started printing was rig accessories. Things like, cold shoe mounts, cable clamps, mic holders, tripod adapter plates, GoPro brackets, battery holders. Those weird little parts that are all usually between 20 and 40 bucks each. And oftentimes they don't even fit your equipment really well. And that's where the 3D printer really shines. You can print your own vision that perfectly matches your equipment and setup, and it costs you like 50 cents in filament. And the kind of power tool that makes it all possible is this little thing, a caliper. It's a practical tool that gives you super precise measurements down to the millimeter. And you can measure even the inside of things. And this one isn't fancy. This one was probably like $5. But with the caliper, you can measure around objects and get exact dimensions, which means you can model or modify a part to fit exactly the first time you print it. Before I had it, I probably had to try out 3, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, different prints in order to make it fit. So here's a couple things that we printed. Like, for example, this little stand for my SSDs. Just a little useful tool that just helps me keep it organized. Perfect. I wouldn't want to buy that for $10 on Amazon, though. Same thing with this little thing. It just holds some of my AA batteries. Same thing. I wouldn't want to buy that. Yet it is helpful to just keep it organized. I don't have a lot of batteries, and it just makes sure that they don't fly around everywhere. Or, for example, this little funny thing here. It's basically a holder for a DVD. For our DVDs that we made, it's kind of custom engraved. It works with the 3D printer pretty well. Not perfect, but you can read it, and it's kind of cool. Okay, I had to quickly run inside to get this. This is probably the most useful 3D print I've done. And I've done like 2 or 3 of those. We have just so many Sony batteries that it's so hard to keep track. First of all, they just fly around everywhere in your case or your camera backpack. So this just keeps them neat and all together. But then the orientation tells me if they're fully charged or not. So if I have the connectors, how do you call that? Looking out like this, I know it's an empty battery. If it's, all solid, it's a full battery. And just that little feature here, that thing just saved me a lot of time quickly changing out a battery. And it holds them pretty well in there. Yeah, not perfectly. Well, yeah. But pretty well. Like, they barely fall out in the bag. But this thing is a game changer. There's so many cool things that you can print. A lot of them have their STL files, their print files online. Like this one, I didn't make this myself. Someone designed it, uploaded it for free, and you could download it and just print it yourself. And yes, I know, none of those things are flashy, but they're just stuff that keep the production together. And you have the ability to just print it on demand. Isn't that crazy? Are we living in the future? Now, obviously, there's the fun side too, like props and set dressing. You need a sci-fi key card to print it. Want some decoration for the wall? Done. For example, we have this Bible verse up here, and that we just printed out like thin letters and just glued them all to the wall. There we go. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not too hard to get started. It sounds really fancy and complicated, but most things are actually just downloadable. You just go on the internet, search for what you need, and then just download it. You just put it into Cura. Cura is a free slicing software that gives you all the settings that you have to dial in slightly for your printer. There's YouTube tutorials about all of that, obviously. It's not complicated. You just put the SD card in, good to go, just print. And you will learn by doing. Yes, at the beginning, there's probably some more failed prints. You will have to learn a little how does it work to get good supports. For example, in Cura, I always use the tree support. It's usually the best. But yeah, it just enables you to do so much. And if you combine all of that, like even the existing files online with Fusion 360 and your caliper, you can modify those things in Fusion 360, and then just export it again, put it into your slicer, and you're good. And even building new 3D models sounds really complicated, but it's not that complicated. I mean, yeah, my models aren't super fancy or complicated or detailed or something, but if I have something that I need to make myself because I don't find any online models, I usually somehow get it done. I'm Simon Wesley, and this channel is all about filmmaking, so subscribe if you want to keep learning.